This week, I savour the finest African hospitality without leaving European airspace. I'm flying down to Geneva from Manchester on Ethiopian Airlines' Fifth Freedom route. I get sounded out by an A380, taste Ethiopian coffee for the very first time, and get a surprising little email prior to takeoff. So how was the business class experience? Was I really on cloud nine? Stick around to find out. Well, a very good morning from Manchester Airport. Right behind me is Emirates' A380, and I'm not prepared to argue with it because it's very, very loud, so I'll let it pass. No matter how many times I tried to record that piece to camera, the aircraft always won, so I'm not going to argue with engine noise any longer, and I've come inside Manchester Airport Terminal 2, which is having some renovation work done at the moment, but it's starting to look really, really nice. It's been about 13 years since I last took a flight here from Manchester Airport. Now, strictly speaking, this was and still is accurate at the time of filming. I just didn't account on jetting off on the second ever Global Airlines flight, which also happened to depart from Manchester. Now, I edited that video before this one, hence this piece to camera now making me look like a massive liar. But I'm not, I promise. Anyways, you get the drift. The link is up top if you want to see me champagne slamming with James Asquith and handling stolen pyjamas from Cara and Nate. So it's nice to be back in Manchester Airport, and today we're flying from here down to Geneva, not with EasyJet, not via London with British Airways, but with Ethiopian Airlines on their Fifth Freedom route. It's on an A350, departs here at about 5:30, flies down to Geneva and then on to Addis Ababa. And my plan was to show you the economy class product that Ethiopian Airlines offer to their passengers on their A350. However, last night I popped a bid in for business class and it was accepted. So the bid was $155. It was the very lowest end of the spectrum because I thought, you know, if they accept it, they accept it. And about an hour and a half later, I got an email to say I'd been upgraded. So I'm about to head to the check-in counter. Let's get this trip started to Geneva with Ethiopian Airlines. Now, at the time of recording this, Ethiopian are based in Zone E within Manchester Airport's Terminal 2, and they'd already checked in the night before using the Ethiopian app. It is quite a slick app, to be fair, and it all worked as it should. My boarding pass was issued before being automatically replaced in my Apple Wallet after the business class upgrade bid was accepted. And despite the screen saying the desks were open, this wasn't the case, although admittedly I was very early. After waiting for around 30 minutes, however, the staff arrived and I was promptly checked in for my flight. There were only 3 people in business class on this leg of the journey, and my boarding pass was issued with a priority lane sticker and a lounge access card, which was given for the facilities here. Now, Terminal 2 was very busy, which was no surprise, so I made my way into the central zone and took the escalators up to the upper level where the lounges are found. Above the escalators is this lovely beehive-style ceiling light feature, which I really liked. It's a great touch and a subtle nod to Manchester's industrial heritage. On the upper level there's 2 lounges, one called Escape and one called the 1903, and it's the latter that we're heading to today on behalf of Ethiopian Airlines. You have to walk into the Escape lounge though to check in, and then walk to the back where there's a private door in order to access the 1903. So, Ethiopian Airlines don't operate their own lounge at Manchester Airport, and with the amount of flights they do from here in a day, it's understandable why they don't have their own lounge. But they've partnered with the 1903 lounge here as their business class lounge provider, and that's operated by Manchester Airport Group, a company called Cavu, to my knowledge, and I apologise in advance if I've got that wrong. Now, I have to say, this lounge could rival some of the main airline business class lounges, both here, in Europe, and certainly in the United States. It is a fabulous, fabulous lounge. There is delightful food. I've seen braised brisket with mashed potatoes, I've seen Lancashire muffins, I've seen duck ramen and tagines. It's really, really, really great food. There's a fantastic bar in the middle, which is all free flow, so Something that I quite like about that is there's no awkwardness with, having to go up and queue, etc. You just help yourself to what you like. There's also a great array of premium spirits and also local spirits as well. We've got the Lancashire muffins there, we've also got the nice Manchester gin to go with it, and that's really nice to see a lounge that places provenance high up its list when it's sourcing its food and drink for the lounge. So I'm going to show you around this lovely little lounge, the 1903. I'm going to grab some food, sit and wait. We've got about 2 hours before we board to go down to Geneva, and I can't wait to get on board and show you Ethiopian Airlines Cloud 9 business class product. This is going to be a really, really special one. In terms of seating in the lounge, there's a spacious formal dining area, armchair-style seats with pull-out wooden tray tables, a larger open-plan section with apron views, and smaller workbench-style desks like this, all of which include 2 AC power sockets so you can keep your devices charged. There's the aforementioned floating bar, which has everything on offer from red, rosé and white wines, soft drinks, and a large array of spirits. There's 3 types of fruit juice on offer, as well as canned and bottled beers, as well as chilled champagne. Towards the back, there's filtered still and sparkling water on tap, a coffee machine with all the usual offerings, and teas from Twinings. On the food front, there's freshly baked breads, a really good salad selection, cold meats, pâtés and quiches, really good cheese, including one of my all-time favourites, freshly cut watermelon and lemon possets, individual loaf cakes ranging from apple crumble to sticky toffee and carrot cake, and some of the best cinnamon rolls I've ever tried. These were very, very, very good. The views stretch out quite far and you can see most of the airport from the lounge. I managed to get a glimpse at the now fully dismantled Thai Airways A350 before realising that my flight was the very next one to board. I checked the screens and then headed down to my gate. Today my flight was departing from gate A12. Boarding was smooth and timely, with no more than 5 minutes of waiting once I'd arrived. Myself, 3 other passengers and a positioning captain were first to head down before boarding began for economy class. The cabin is arranged in a staggered 1-2-1 layout, with some seats angled outwards towards the windows and others angled inwards towards the aisle. Today we're seated in seat 2A, a window side position. This shot here probably illustrates the layout more clearly. Now, first impressions of the seat were excellent. It looked very spacious and well thought out. The headrest was leather and topped with a soft cotton Cloud 9 branded cover. A very generous pillow and blanket were already placed at my seat, and I can't express just how soft and cosy this pillow was. Many other airlines could take notes here. In the seat pocket to my right were a magazine, safety card and Ethiopian Airlines branded noise cancelling headphones. Each seat is allocated half an overhead bin, though space was more than sufficient on this flight. To the right of the seat is a storage compartment containing the in-flight entertainment remote, a small mirror and enough room for a wash bag or similar sized item. A red leather branded amenity kit and a bottle of still water were handed out, and below the storage compartment was a headphone port and a standard universal AC power outlet. Beneath the IFE screen there was also a USB-A charging port, but there was no USB-C charging facilities on this flight. A coat hook is integrated into the seat, though I always find these somewhat unnecessary, along with a large tray table stored just beneath the IFE screen. There's also a reading light to the right of the seat, although this did feel a bit clunky. Seat controls were found on the right using a set of 3 buttons, and the IFE screen in front of the seat measured 17 inches across. Welcome drinks were served at my seat, a choice of either champagne or orange juice, and naturally I went for the champagne. Well, all aboard this lovely little A350 belonging to Ethiopian Airlines. I've been on board now for about 5 minutes. The crew are incredibly warm. Such a lovely welcome. I think about 3 or 4 of them have come to introduce themselves and ask what I'm doing. It's a full service flight, so I have a glass of champagne down to Geneva. And so far, so good. Lovely little seat. Yeah, it's not all singing, all dancing, but it's really comfortable. And also, I feel like I'm on some sort of episode of BBC Proms in the Park because it's very relaxing classical music being played whilst we were boarding. So I'll show you around. I'm going to sit in, get comfortable for this short ride down to Geneva. We've been told it's about an hour 20, an hour 25 flight time at this moment in time. But as far as I'm concerned, he can take another 2 or 3 hours, our captain, and take us around Europe on a little tour. Give me time to enjoy this seat even longer. And I've never had this before, a pre-departure drink top-up. This was followed by a menu, which as you can see was amazing for such a short flight. After this, a hot towel was served. The last of the cargo loaded, and we began pushing back to start our journey down to Geneva. So I've just finished my meal. We're about 30 minutes in. The crew are so efficient, all working as a team here. Someone's come out and laid the table with a tablecloth, and somebody came and bought the meal, all served separately. Everything's in glass and chinaware, so it's a really nice service. You do feel like you're, travelling long haul, even though we're only going down to Geneva for an hour and 20. But yeah, full service, beautiful food. I opted for the beef skewer, the char-grilled beef skewer, but then they bought me both anyway. They bought me the vegetarian salad, the potato salad with raisins, really, really nice. The beef skewer was served with a salad, tomatoes, and a nice, very generous slice of red Leicester cheese. And then dessert was a mixed berry cheesecake, which had blueberries and I think blackberries in. Really, really nice as well. I went for the orange juice, but the cabin crew told me, the lead cabin crew, the purser, she said, why don't you try the passion fruit juice? That's what we're renowned for here. So gave that a go, and as you can see, went down like a treat. It was really, really delicious. Glass of water, didn't touch the cheese and crackers, just had the cheese, a bit of a cheese lover me. Try and stay away from too many carbs, although I've not done great today, I must admit, with the 1903 lounge as well. And everything's served in glass and chinaware with metal cutlery. Beautiful service, really, really good. And I think Ethiopian Airlines can certainly teach the European airlines a bit or two about business class catering and service. The next plan was to highlight Ethiopian's IFE offering, but sadly the screen had frozen. It was also affecting the other passengers in business too, so it sounded a bit like a cabin-wide issue. The crew were working hard to reset it, but sadly it was to no avail. The cabin crew on this flight are working miracles. You tell me how you serve a 3-course meal, drinks and coffee in 25 minutes and not make the service feel rushed, because it hasn't felt rushed. It hasn't felt like, they're wanting you to clear your plate and take it away quickly. It's felt very serene, very calm. Now, the wonderful cabin crew member has just bought me a cup of Ethiopian coffee and asked me if I've ever tried Ethiopian coffee before. Of course, this is where the turbulence has to start, isn't it? Whenever you've got a hot drink. And I genuinely haven't tried Ethiopian coffee before. And she says, you're going to like it. There's no middle ground. She was confident I was going to enjoy it. So let's give it a go. Wow, that is really strong, but really tasty. Don't want to sound like one of those whiny kind of snobs, but you really can taste different notes in the coffee. It's quite cereally, really, really nice. I'm loving this flight. I could continue on to Addis, maybe go down to Africa instead of getting off at Geneva. If only that was a thing, eh? Flat. I thought I'd give it a little test run so I can feed back to you. As suspected, it is very narrow down where your feet are in the sort of footwell area of this seat. However, it is fully lie flat, it's not angled at all, and it is really comfortable, especially this pillow. This pillow is really, really comfortable. It's like my pillow at home. So I think you'd probably get some sleep, and I think you'd probably get some quality sleep. But the footwell might pose an issue if you're tall, 6 foot plus. But other than that, it's a really comfortable seat. And before heading to the bathroom to do a quick loo review, I did notice that the bottom of the footwell had a large crack in where my feet would sit. Now look, I appreciate you can't see this, but it is little details like this that should really be taken care of before a flight departs. Now I know, not really a fair test is it, but the toilets are very, very clean. There's also this Ethiopian Airlines cologne. I'm assuming that is just air freshener. And there's also some moisturising lotion. So a couple of amenities here, some packs of hand sanitizer, perfumed hand sanitizer if you want to take those back to your seat as well. So yeah, pretty clean. I had also tried to use the Wi-Fi on board this A350, but sadly it kept saying this following error message. Cruising altitude had not been reached, or there was currently no satellite coverage. And flying over Central Europe, I did find that a little hard to believe. Well, that's pretty much it for this flight. We're seatbelt signs are on and strapped in, ready to land at Geneva in about 20 minutes' time. And this one's been a super pleasure to do. It really has been a great time on board. I've been fed and watered to the brink and beyond, so I'm going to have to roll off this aircraft when we land in a few moments' time.
አይነት መሳሪያዎቻችሁን ከአሁን ሰዓት ጀምሮ እንድታጠፉ እንጠይቃለን። እናመሰግናለን።
Ladies and gentlemen, as we have started our descent for landing, please make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position. Ensure your seat belt is securely fastened and all carry-on luggage is stowed underneath the seat in front of you or in the overhead bin.
Australians አባል በሆኑ በኢትዮጵያ አየር መንገድ በአውሮፕላኑ ዋና አብራሪ በካፕቴን ከፍ ያለውና በተቀሩት የሰራ ባልደረቦች ስም በአገልግሎታችን እንደተደሰታችሁ በመተማመን በጄኔቫ ወይም በምትሄዱበት ሁሉ መልካም ቆይታ እንዲኖራችሁ በመመኘት ወደፊት በሌላ ኢትዮጵያ።
Well, that wraps up my journey with Ethiopian Airlines from Manchester to Geneva on their unique Fifth Freedom route. And while the lie flat seat was a little tight in bed mode and there was no Wi-Fi or working in-flight entertainment on this flight, those weren't major concerns given the short duration. That said, on a longer sector down to Addis, these shortcomings would definitely be more noticeable. One thing to flag, I later discovered that I wouldn't earn miles based on the upgraded class of travel, only on the original economy fare. I do think that's a little cheeky, and it's something that Ethiopian Airlines should be more transparent about at the point of upgrade. On the upside though, the crew were polished and super professional, the food was packed with flavour, and the overall service felt genuinely premium from start to finish. For a short European hop, this is a standout experience. If you're looking for something a little different and memorable en route to Geneva, this could be just the ticket. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you never miss another upload. Plenty more aviation, travel and hotel content coming your way. See you in the next one.